G'day. It's time to understand to whom, to what, and how you're connected. Welcome to day 42 of the lockdown here in Malaysia. Just a quick thought today about connectedness, and I don't mean that in a spiritual way necessarily, or even in a personal way, but I do think one of the interesting side effects or consequences of this current COVID-19 crisis that we're all going through is an understanding and appreciation of exactly what and who and how we're all connected. And that might be on a personal level, as we talked about, how you now have to connect virtually instead of physically. But it's also about how you're connected to things like the supply chain. How am I connected to the outcomes of a farmer in Australia or in China? Somebody who's producing something that sends it here to Malaysia that I can or can't get based on my access to that supply chain. And so I do think it's an interesting time for us to kind of restock a little bit and reevaluate. What's going to be more interesting, of course, is that on the other side of this thing, how much of that changes, how much of that just goes back to the way it was, how much of it just goes away forever. But I think at the very least, during this time of sort of isolation and lockdown, depending on where you're at, I do think it forces us into a period of at least understanding that connection. And what we choose to do with that in the future, or what we're forced to do with that in the future, still remains to be seen. But getting a real understanding of that connection right now, again, physical, spiritual, emotional, supply chains, physical products, all of those things I think is really important right now during your lockdown, during your isolation period, thinking about to whom, to what, and how you're connected. Alrighty, that is it for today. I do thank you for your time, and I will be back again tomorrow. See ya.
I'm just trying to connect with something bad. Yeah, swag.